Acting for Income and Entertainment show. Hi, I'm Sandra D. And today I have a special guest with us, Kathy Ivens, who is a life coach who will be with us the entire hour to talk to us about some really important facts about acting and the mental state of actors. Today we're going to talk about the personal roadblocks of actors and how actors can overcome them. Thank you for coming today, Kathy.
Thank you for inviting me, Sandra.
I have a million questions that a lot of actors ask me, and I actually got a lot of them on the email that we have, and so I want to go ahead and ask you these questions. And as a life coach, I'd like for you to tell us your thoughts on those issues and maybe tell us how actors can overcome those issues. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I emphasize to my followers the importance of taking care of oneself, mind, body, and spirit. However, this industry has a way of building expectations and building their hopes and then tearing them down. So people go through emotional roller coasters in this industry. I mean, really, some people resort to drugs and alcohol because they can't take the lows. Really important issue. So let's speak about that. The actor who goes from the completely highs to the lowest lows. The state of mentality of the actors is so important in order to give your best. So can you talk about that?
Yes. It is so important that you don't lose yourself.
Ooh, yeah.
It is, you see, you're involved in becoming someone else all the time. And a lot of actors lose who they are. You see, you may have to play a glamour queen, a sophisticated rich woman, but maybe that is not the true desire of your heart as an individual. You may be simple, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the conflict between the two, and then the demand of the public that you be that person all the time, can really, really send you into a bad place where you lose who you are, and then you lose confidence in who you are.
Yeah. So here's an actor that has been, getting the A-lister roles, and they're all over the newspapers and magazines, and they're doing good, and their IMDb score is like low of low. And then there's nothing.
Mm-hmm. It's called the
ebb. A lot of actors have problems handling that.
Yes. It's called the ebb of life.
We have agents, and we would hope that those agents would give us, help us to find good work.
Yes.
But there are millions of actors and only so many jobs.
Yes.
So everybody can't work every single day.
Right.
But when you've been up there and then all of a sudden you're not getting the scripts and getting the roles, a lot of people can't handle that.
If you take that as remember I talked about the GPS system. The GPS system is inside of you. It is your heart. And you will always have the energy and the drive to keep going, no matter what happens, if this is for you. So when your world comes tumbling down, and your scores aren't what they used to be, and it seems after 20 years now you can't find work after you've won all the awards there are to win. Mm-hmm. That is not necessarily the time to give up and think that you're a failure and think that your career is over. No may simply be saying, no, not that, but this. Mm-hmm. It may be saying, no, not today, but in 6 months. Mm-hmm. It may be saying, no, not that, because there's something greater. Mm. There's something better. There is a role that is coming that is you are so equipped for.
That's something good to hold on to.
It is what you have to hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. because I think that a lot of people need to hear that.
Yes, yes. You have to trust what's inside of you, and that will tell you everything. If you are okay with what you're feeling inside, and you just know you can't quit, even though the signs around you say you're washed up, follow that, because your heart will lead you to the right place every time. But you have to keep stepping one step in front of the other. And no does not always mean no, and very seldom means no.
Okay. Great. Thank you. That's great to hold on to. So I want to start with the thought of desire versus lust. Desire versus lust. Many people want to become a star because of the money and the fame in this industry and the desire to work and be known. But my message to actors is that they must love what they do first.
Yes.
Love what you do first, because if you love acting, that will carry you through the lows. That's
Absolutely.
my thought, and I live that life. I love acting, and times are not always good. And so if I didn't love acting, and if I was just chasing the money or the fame, I would be destroyed, because I wouldn't have anything else to hold on to if I'm not achieving those goals.
Absolutely.
So I love what I do. And I emphasize that to everyone that I talk to about acting, that you have to love it. You have to love this industry, because if you just love acting, even if you have to do some free stuff, if you love what you're doing, that's going to carry you through. So give me your thoughts on actors who don't have the desire for acting, but only have the lust.
Sure, I'd be happy to, Sandra.
Okay.
Thank you. And that's a very, very important point that she does share with her viewers about loving the craft first. Anytime we chase anything outside of our heart, it is definitely going to lead us to a place where we're going to find ourselves empty, and we're going to find ourselves void of the energy to continue. The thing about it is, we are born with a GPS system within us, and that GPS system is the vision, the dream, the passion, the talents that exist within our own heart. And if we will listen to our heart and not get distracted by the fame and the fortune and the material things on the outside, and there's nothing wrong with those material things, they're good, they provide a lifestyle that many people want for themselves. There's nothing wrong with the goods. But when the goods become more and bigger than the heart and what is in the heart, it is inevitable you will have to substitute things with alcohol and drugs. The lack of passion, the lack of fulfilling that in your heart, you're going to find something else to substitute that with. Yes.
Yeah.
So it is very, very important what you're telling your viewers and people that write to you and come to you for advice is to love the craft first.
Very good.
Because many people do end up and dead.
So I am on the right track on that one. And, I totally agree with you. If you don't have the passion for this work, it might not be your line of work.
Yes, absolutely. And if you study all of the people who have actually made a dramatic impact on the world, they are people that came from their heart. They
Absolutely.
came from passion. And you know what? They weren't trying to do it.
Yeah.
It was something that came out of them through their hard times, through tragedy, through very difficult places in their life. Artists, painters, musicians, actors.
And many of those people, I know every single one of them, the ones that just pop in my head. I'm thinking of Michael Jackson and
Yes.
the Madonnas and, people who have been up there, Beyonce, Liberace. Every one of them had no's. No in their
Yes.
earlier careers and
Yes.
got knocked down.
Yes.
And their passion for what they did just sung through their hearts, and they just continued with what they were doing and eventually became the mega superstars that they are because they loved what they did.
Yes, and that is actually one of the determining factors that you can judge for yourself if this industry is really for you, if acting is for you. If when you are told no, if when you fall, if when you have nothing, something in you says keep going, don't quit, then you know it's for you because you have what it takes within you to go the long haul.
Very good. Thank you. The next question has to do with humble beginnings.
Okay.
Okay, let me explain that. Where we grew up, our mother taught us a lesson. We had literally little to no money. But our mother said, just because you're poor, you don't have to look or act poor.
Yeah, she did.
And my mother looked like a glamour goddess, but she was very poor.
Yeah.
No one ever knew how much money we had in our household because that was what she did.
Mm-hmm.
She disguised this, good or bad.
Right.
She disguised it and taught us to have pride about what we do. Everything that you touch, everything that you comes out of your mouth, everything that you do, have pride in yourself and just strive and strive and strive for what it is you want.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The reason I bring this up is because there are a lot of hungry actors out there.
Yeah.
They've sacrificed the big jobs, they've sacrificed the corporate jobs, the government jobs, they've sacrificed the 9-to-5s, they've sacrificed everything to be a waiter
Yes.
in the day and do their acting when they can.
Yes.
And so they're living very humble. And they're striving. So the people who may not understand that or that are ready to give up,
Yes.
can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely. I look at humble beginnings like the blueprint of an architect. And it's very, very important that that architect get that blueprint just right. The calculations all have to be 100% accurate. Let's say, for instance, he's going to build a bridge. If one part of that blueprint is not successful in his calculations, then when that bridge goes up, it will definitely fail.
Absolutely.
So your humble beginnings are very important. The things that you are willing to sacrifice right now, it's important because you're learning. Everything that you give up, every tear that you shed, all the fears, all the feelings of inadequacy, all of those things are very important. So it's very, very necessary that you don't resent your humble beginnings. They are the blueprint of your bridge. So give into it. Allow it to be. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Just give in and let it be what it is and go with it. Learn from it and take all of the lessons that you are learning in that humble place and apply them. Whatever you're learning about yourself, about other people, about the industry, make sure you get it and you get it good. Because if you don't, and when the opportunity comes, that bridge is going to collapse.
I was going to say that learn from it.
Yes.
Even if you're
Yes.
a child and you're going through the struggles and you overcame it,
Yes.
learn it. Because in
Yes.
this industry, you know, as we said before, there are highs and lows and ups and downs. Well, if you came from humble beginnings, then you know what it's like to struggle and to finally achieve. Well, that's a cycle of life.
Yes,
That's
it
a
is.
cycle of life.
It is.
And so when those highs are high and you feel good when you got that movie or you got that really well-paying commercial, it's good. But if you go 6 months without work and you're struggling to find work, well, you've already understood what the lows are about and
Yes.
how to handle those.
Yes.
And so you've got to recollect and use your past
Yes.
to help
Absolutely.
you with your future and your current place. So I agree with you 100% that humble beginnings is almost, to me, it's a blessing, because I wouldn't have known how to handle the lows.
Exactly. It's all a process. And success will tell you one thing. You will not have me until you pay your ticket up front. You got to pay the fare, full fare, before success will finally give herself to you.
Okay. Our next topic is on the psychological cost for performers. I read an article in The Guardian called "Actors Struggle to Resolve Emotional Problems," which talks about new research that suggests that there is a psychological cost for performers in this business.
Right.
So, without me even saying anything, what are you thinking about this? What's your thought about that? That there's a psychological cost.
I'm going to address this from probably a different place than what a lot of other people would address it from, but I'm going to address it from the place that I believe is the place of resolution, the place where you can find an answer, and the place where you can find a way to deal with that psychological pressure. In acting, you have to use your imagination, you have to use your emotions, you have to use your feelings. Yes. In acting, you have to become your character. So you have to feel them. You have to identify with them.
Right.
You have to think their thoughts.
Right.
And the camera knows when you're not in that place.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of mental power to become that character.
Yes.
Well, your imagination, your feelings, and your thoughts are all creative forces. That is how we create, from the invisible to the visible. Mm-hmm. And what happens when we become all of these characters and we have all of these emotions and all of these feelings from this character, there's residue that's left. Mm-hmm. And when you have not dealt with that character, when it's over and it's time to move on to the next, you still have that residue left from that character. And so a lot of people feel, I mean, after time, it's like there's confusion, it's hard for me to get into this next character. It's just hard to move on. There's a block. It's because that energy has not been cleared from that other past 20 characters, you see? And so you keep going on and on and on, bringing in new energy, new thoughts, new imagination. And remember, I told you, these are creative forces. This is how we actually create. And, we use faith to create. And so you have to be able to clear all of that energy from that character.
How do you do that, though?
Well, when you understand that your thoughts are creative forces, that your feelings and emotions are creative forces, you have to begin to adjust your thinking back to a place where you're safe again.
So it's a cognizant thing that you have to do.
Absolutely.
You have to be cognizant of going back to that place.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Almost, would you say, forcing yourself to go back to that place?
You can't force your mind to do anything. The more you try to force your mind to do something, it's going to fight you tooth and nail, and you know what? It's going to win. So suggestions. And that is why if you have music that puts you into a particular mood, that brings peace to you, if you have, if there's something like walking on the beach, whatever is your thing that brings you to a place of clearing, a place of solitude, a place of peace, and taking your mind and making suggestions, for it to go back to that place. And that can be done through affirmations.
Yes.
It can be done through reading scripture for people who believe that. So there are tools that you can use to get you to clear that negative energy and get yourself back to a place of probably, I would say, 0, so that you can begin to build this next character.
That's
but when
very
you're trying to,
interesting.
when you're trying to build on top of that old character, on top of yourself, there a lot of stuff gets in there, and that's why people have these blocks and they can't move.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I played a role where it was a very heavy role in my recent movie Never Alone, and I was, just this business type woman, just head on, and I know that I'm a very strong person, in general, but more so than I had to be in this movie. And we had a long time to film this movie, and I had to stay in this character, and it was my husband that helped me to say positive things to enforce me to become the more subtle person again. And I thank him for that. But it was the positive affirmations that I use. So thank you for bringing that to the forefront. I think a lot of actors need to hear that.
Yes.
A lot of people want to know, how do I get into character? But many people want to know, how do I get out?
Yes.
Because that's the psychological effect that people have.
Definitely.
And it can have some bad aftermath if you don't get rid of it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thank you so much. This is getting so good. Thank you. The next question that I have, I want to talk to you a little bit about the psychological effects of the high demands that the television and movie industry has on actors based on looks, weight, and age. Okay? Let's get started with looks. Physical attributes, looks. Pretty people get noticed, and they're all over the headlines, and they're getting great roles, and many of them don't have any talent. Okay? And that, to me, it just sends that horrible message that pretty girls get it.
Yes.
Okay? So that also equates to pretty equates success.
Right.
Okay? And to me, that's a horrible thing. And in Hollywood, they make people believe, and I won't say just Hollywood, the television and movie industry, that, if you're pretty, you don't need any talent, you don't need any education, you don't need anything but to be pretty to be successful. I want you to speak to that issue as it relates to self-worth and confidence of the actor.
Right. You're definitely right. I mean, it's all in the magazines, it's on television, it's in commercials. And unfortunately, the industry uses this to control. They use it to manipulate. And they use it to disarm and weaken. Because if the industry can keep people where they are, they can keep them controlled. So what happens is you become neutral and you just continue to buy into what they're doing. You continue to support what they're doing because you don't feel you can do any better.
Right.
It may be in your heart and it may be your dream, but because they have already set the bar and you don't match that bar because you don't look that way, you're not going to pursue it, but you're going to keep spending your money.
Right. So here we are, actors, some of us aren't that pretty. Some of us just don't have the look that many of the girls do on the magazines and in television, but yet we have a desire to be the actor.
And it goes back to what I said earlier. You have to your life has to be guided from your heart. If it is in your heart, it doesn't matter what your body looks like, and it doesn't matter what your face looks like. Your heart is telling you, pursue. Your heart is telling you, this is what you are supposed to do. The problem is when we rely upon a certain director, a certain producer, to make us famous or to open the door. I strongly believe, and I teach all of my clients, your gift will open your door.
Yeah.
All you have to do is honor that gift, perfect it.
I'm going to merge that into the weight factor too.
Sure.
True enough, camera adds 10 to 20 pounds onto you. Yeah. And we all know that. We all know that. Yes. But again, it emphasizes a certain weight, a certain look, when heavyset people have desires. And what people in the movie industry and television industry fail to realize, or they don't care, is that there are many, and since this show is really centered around women, women at a certain age go through changes.
Yes.
And they don't have the same metabolism, and they can't burn it as easily. And there's medical issues with a lot of women.
Yeah.
But women, you know, because everyone says that you have to be skinny and young and cute, a lot of women give up, you know, at the age of 40 or so, and feel like, oh, I can't do this because of these factors. So yeah, let's add weight to that also, because there are women who are overweight. Yes, they are, but they have the desire to be an actor. Yes. And the talent.
Yes. Yes.
Great talent.
Absolutely.
So let's add weight to that, about the self-confidence and self-worth.
Right. And you know, I don't want to make excuses for not taking care of yourself, for not eating right, for not exercising. All of us need to do that in some capacity. Some can do more, some can do less. But those things are very important, because they not only keep the body healthy, but they keep the mind stimulated. So that is very important. However, you don't have to try to make yourself some beauty queen before you can give in to your craft. I guarantee you, if you will begin and you will take the first step and begin to give in to your craft, the energy and the excitement will come. You'll become alive again inside. You will light that flame, and you will have the desire to run 5 miles a day, you know? But that's natural. Now you're not forcing yourself. Now you're not trying to become what other people expect you to become. Now you are becoming what you want to become. Yeah. You're taking control of your life, because
and you actually feel better about yourself.
Yes, you do. Yes, it definitely works hand in hand.
Right.
But it's coming from in here. It's not coming from the outside, and that is the big difference. That's what will cause your success.
That's really great advice. Really great advice. I know quite a few people in that position, and that's great advice. So I'm hoping that they see this show.
Good.
So a high percentage of women go under the knife.
Right.
In the industry.
Right.
To look the way that everyone thinks that they should look.
Yes.
And have I been tempted? Yeah. I've been tempted, but I realize that I'm going to leave this earth with what I came in with.
Yeah.
And to hell with people that don't like the way I look. I don't care. I'll get the roles where they like the way I look for that certain role.
Right.
You know, and we don't want everyone in the industry to look the same. We need the big noses. We need the big chin. We need the big ears. We need the big eyes. We need funny looks. We need, different looks. We need everything for television.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why people should stop trying to be something else that they are not.
Right.
Because there is a position for you somewhere.
Yes. There
You
is.
just have to find it.
Right.
And if you're not giving up so easily, then you'll find it.
Right.
So yeah, and you know, that all went hand in hand with me. But there is another issue, and I want to talk about age. Okay? Because a lot of people who are retired, when I did the introduction to this show, I talked about women who are retired
Right.
could actually get into acting.
Right.
I didn't promise that everyone could be a star,
Right.
but everyone can try to be an actor.
Right.
That is my motto here. And, you know, a lot of people who are retired believe that there is no place for them. Contrary to their belief, there's a lot of work. Everyone that I have met, I think 90% of the people that I have met in this market, in San Francisco market, have been print models and actors over the age of 40.
That's exciting.
And they're making money.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exciting.
And so some women think that they're too old. For me, I don't believe that there is such a thing as no. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yes, I'm over 40. And I'm getting more work than I did at the age of 20.
Right.
I'm getting more work now because they need the older face. They need the mom. They need the grandmom.
Right.
They need the people sweeping the floors and the mops and those
Yes.
commercials. They
Yes.
need the mother types.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
they need you.
Yes.
And so I just want to encourage people, but can you give us any thoughts on the age factor?
Well, there's a big connotation that especially in America, when you are over a certain age, that everything goes downhill and that, you know, life is over. But as you get older, you learn that you get a certain age and life really just begins, because that's when you begin to understand everything. And unfortunately, that's usually the time where you discover, I'm going to go for it no matter what. And that's when you come to realize, I'm perfect just the way I am. And I'm going to use what I have, and you learn to not care what other people think.
Yeah.
So, and it also blends in with what I've been saying all along, is that you have to love who you are. And matter of fact, that's some of that building the bridge, building the blueprint foundation that you learn in the humble beginnings, searching within yourself. If you develop self-love, and you, in that blueprint, you put self-love, finding yourself, learning yourself, coming to allow and accept yourself. That will be a foundation. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. That foundation will take you all the way. And it will bypass and it will rip right through any obstacle that comes your way.
Okay. Okay, we're back, and let's just talk about a couple of things that we didn't talk about before.
Okay.
My final question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's expand the conversation to gender. Okay? I read a couple of reports, one from the Anna Berg School of Communication and Journalism, University of Southern California, that in 500 of the most popular movies, the gender breakdown was 2.51 to 1. That is 2.51 males to 1 female, showing that females were grossly underrepresented in the films, in the top 500.
Okay.
Okay, in another report, the Hollywood Reporter, it shows that 62% of the roles in the last 5 to 7 years went to males and 38 went to women. 38% went to women. I found a wonderful statistical website. It's the Gina Davis Institute on Gender in the Media. It shows great analysis, all kinds of information on the breakdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And in every report I found, men were more dominant in the film industry.
Right.
So, yes, we've made some improvements, but we're not there yet. So what do you think that women can do to pursue their dreams and keeping the confidence in this industry?
One of the very exciting things that's happening in the industry is independent film. That is one avenue that women can really, really begin to participate in a greater way. And another thing is, why not find other women and band together and create your own?
Oh my gosh! Do you know, for the last 5 years, that has been my thought. Why aren't these women in Hollywood putting their money together
Yes.
to create their own
Yes. Yes.
film companies and
Yes.
and production companies? And I don't get it. I don't understand. I know we aren't making as much money, but there's some women in Hollywood making some pretty good money.
Right.
And since we know that we're the underdogs, why not put your money together?
Maybe no one has just really got down to it and suggested it and taken it to the next level and went out and tried to make it happen.
I don't know. I'm sure it's come up, but why isn't something happening? That's a question that I have. Why Hollywood women of all races and colors and sizes and,
Yes.
why aren't you putting your money together? Why aren't you building the studios? We've got the talent, and God knows we've got the brains.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
that's a question that I'm putting out there. So yes, I think that independent film is a great way, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've done independent films, and I've gotten great roles in the films. My goal is to move forward and to do better.
Right.
But
right.
I love the craft so much. I'll keep doing independent films if that's the work that I'm getting. That's
Yes.
fine.
Yes. And there are some wonderful independent
Oh yeah,
films.
they're winning
Yes.
all kinds of awards.
Yes,
out
they
there.
are. Yes, they are. They're getting a lot of attention.
Yes. Well, that's a great thought. And any other suggestions about what women could do?
That is definitely a big avenue there. And I would say, because I believe everything starts internal. I come from the internal aspect of everything. And women have so many issues that they're contending with. And they have to be willing to step forward and walk into what they feel they are here to do. We have mothers and wives who have given their lives to their families and to their husband, to their churches and to their schools, but they still have that desire inside of them that they should be in acting or be a director or produce a film. And I just want to encourage those women, that dream is in your heart for a reason. And you need to begin to honor that and step forward into that, because that is what you owe you.
Ooh, that's powerful. That's good.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming today.
You're
It was a pleasure. And this is Kathy Ivens, life coach, and we will be putting her contact information on after the show. Thank you for coming. This is Ready, Action.